Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, then welcome to my channel. Today I'm doing a very exciting video that has been, I wouldn't say highly requested, but it's definitely been requested on my channel for me to do this since I started doing like more mom style videos. Everyone wants to hear my birth story, so here it is. So I had a 40 week, I'm just going to start at my 40 weeks. At 40 weeks I was not going into labor. My body was just not naturally going into labor. So I went to my 40-week appointment. And my doctor checked me to see if everything was like anything was happening, if there was any dilation or anything like that, and nothing. So I wasn't able to have my like membrane swept or anything like that. Everybody was recommending it, but I just couldn't have it done because nothing was happening. Like I wasn't dilated. It was like nothing. So she said since I was 40 weeks, she was going to go ahead and schedule me for an induction, which would have to be close to 42 weeks because that's just how the military works. They don't induce you until you're almost 42 weeks, which is kind of annoying, but it's also really good too because first off, you're tired of being pregnant, which makes it really annoying. But the good thing about it is your body is going to either naturally go into labor and it's not by the 42-week mark. So it just gives your body that extra time to go into labor, especially if it's your first child. A lot of women don't go into labor until the 42-week mark. So that's what my doctor was trying to do. She was trying to let me go to the 42-week mark, but I went to like 41 and a half. I was 9 days over. I was due on May 15th, and then on May 23rd, I went in for an appointment, and they told me that I was going to be induced. On May 22nd, I went in for a doctor's appointment, so I was over 41 weeks pregnant, and I went in for a doctor's appointment, and they told me that I was going to be induced the next day, which would have been May 23rd. And there was just a lot of complication. There was so much stress. There was so much going on. I was getting so annoyed. There was no beds available on May 23rd. I got up at 5:30 in the morning, was prepared to go get induced and everything like that, and there was no beds available. Like, so many women were going into labor that they didn't have any beds available for me to just go in and progress throughout the day. That went on all day long with me just like calling them. I started calling them at 5:30, then 6:30, then 7:30, then 8:30, until I was just like fed up with it. At like 1:30, I was like, just call me when you have a bed available. This baby's still in there. She's healthy and everything's going well, so I just need to calm down and everything's going to be fine. Like 9 o'clock that night, they gave me a call and they said, you could come in at 11, and I was like, okay, like I don't care what time it is, I'm getting ready to have my baby. So they called me back about 30 minutes later and told me that wasn't going to work out and that I had to come in at 5:30 in the morning. Needless to say, it was a lot, it was really aggravating, and I was just annoyed. But they told me at 5:30 to just come, like don't even call, just show up. So I was like, all right. So 5:30 came, I got up, and we got there, I think at 6 o'clock is when they told us to actually get there. And I ate breakfast. I honestly can't even remember what I ate. It was so like hectic. I think I ate some peanuts and a, what did I have? I had some peanuts and a granola bar or something, like something simple that I could just eat on the way there. So we get there, and they check me in, they get my like vitals and everything like that. And by this time it is like 7 o'clock, and sorry about the lighting going in and out. I'm using natural sunlight, so that's why it's like in and out. So around 7 o'clock is when they just had told me like what they were gonna do, and they started doing that at 7:30. They inserted a Foley bulb, I think that's how you pronounce it. What it is, it's absolutely painful, and if they tell you have to get that, then it works great because it worked for me. But you okay? Skyler's right here beside me. So yeah, and what was I saying? I was gonna get the Foley bulb, which is absolutely painful, but it definitely works because it worked for me. I was nothing like when they inserted the Foley bulb. Like I was not dilated at all. They inserted the Foley bulb around 7:30. And what it is it's like this little thing, probably like the size of like half of my finger right here. And what it does is it has water in it when they insert it, and there's a string attached to it that goes onto your leg, and every time they pull that string, they would pull that string about every hour, the ball inside would grow, little string thing would grow into a bulb that was actually 4 centimeters. So this literally stretched me out to a 4 centimeters. So that's what happened with that. And once they did the last pull on the Foley bulb, my water broke and everything was happening. So my waters broke, I was 4 centimeters dilated, and I was doing great. Like I feel like I was doing really good. The Foley bulb was just uncomfortable. It wasn't like I was in the worst pain of my life. I just couldn't really do anything. They wanted me to like get active and stuff, but I just couldn't because I just felt so uncomfortable, like I could barely move. So, because it's really crampy, honestly. Like I was having tons of cramps because I was dilating so quickly. They had me on Pitocin as well with that Foley bulb. I think they started me out on probably like a 6 or a 7, and I got up to a 20. So I'm on the Pitocin. I'm at like a 6 or a 7. I am 4 centimeters dilated. By that time I'm probably at like 11 to 15 on my Pitocin, and I asked for some medicine. I was like, okay, I'm starting to get really uncomfortable now that my water's broke and the contractions are starting to get more intense. So I asked for some pain medicine, and that is the one thing I regret during my birth, my labor, and everything. This is the one thing that I regret, is getting pain medicine. I will never get pain medicine again. It made me like so whiny, and I couldn't control myself. Like I just didn't really know what was going on because of the Vinagrin, because they give you Vinagrin so that way you don't throw up because you haven't really ate anything. So they gave me that, and I just like was so tired. I passed out, like not passed out, but I like passed out to sleep because I was so tired. But in my sleep, I wasn't really like asleep, so I could feel every contraction. And I just remember like people all around me and me being so annoyed that people were around me and just being like, get away. And I just remember that, and I hate that. Like I hate that feeling of me like not being able to control myself because I was doing so well before I got the medicine. So that's one thing I definitely regret. The pain medicine started to like kind of wear off, and I wasn't as drowsy. My doctor was getting ready to come in and check, but I asked for the epidural. I was like, okay, I didn't know like how far along it actually was, but I was like, I need this epidural. So my doctor came in, I had the epidural, or the whoever does the epidural came in, did the epidural. It was great. Like the best thing I ever did during my labor was get that epidural. I will never have labor without the epidural. Like it was the best thing I ever did. They put the epidural in. My husband had to leave the room. He said he felt like he was gone forever, but really it was like, to me it felt like 20 minutes. I don't know if that's because like the medicine or what it was. To me it felt like it was no time, and I was not in pain anymore. So then I was laying down, and I think it's probably around 5 o'clock now that I have my epidural. And my doctor, after I got my epidural, she came in, checked me and see how far dilated I was, and I was 6 centimeters at the time. So it's about 5 o'clock, I was 6 centimeters dilated, and I went to sleep. And let me tell you what, that was the best sleep I ever got. I definitely recommend getting the epidural and just going to sleep because I was so tired. I don't know why. I think it's because my body was like working hard all day, and I just got so tired. So at 5 o'clock, I slept, and I slept all the way till 7. So 2 like good hours of sleep. I just remember like waking up and them saying the baby's heart rate was really low, and I was a little concerned. I was freaking out, but they were saying like, it's okay, like this happens. Are you sure you're not feeling any pressure? And I was like, I don't think so. So they inserted a heart rate monitor onto Skyler's head, which I was like kind of weirded out about. I'm like, I've never heard of this, this was not in my birth plan. Like, no, I don't want to do this. But honestly, nothing was going to my birth plan. Like, I had to be induced, and that was definitely not on my birth plan. So it was okay, and they said it totally would be fine. She would just come out with like a little bump on her head from where it had been inserted. So they just put that, like, I think it was like right at the top of her head, and that monitored her heart rate, and they said that it was getting really low. So they're like, are you sure you don't feel any pressure? And I was like, you know what? Now that you say that, I think I do. So I told my mom, I was like, yeah, Mom, I feel pressure. And she was like, oh, doctor's like, she's feeling pressure. And I was like getting nervous. My husband, I think, had stepped out for a second. He came in. He was like, what's going on? Like, is everything okay? I was like, yeah, I'm feeling some pressure down there. And he was like, okay. And the doctor said, let me go down there and check really quick. So she went down and she said that I was 10 centimeters dilated and it was game time. So, yeah. And then it was game time. And so I was in like the best mood. I don't know, like, let me tell you what, the epidural is amazing. I cannot stress to you guys enough that unless you are a strong, powered woman and you have like, you just want to do that, then you go for that. But I enjoy my labor experience because of that epidural. So do not be afraid to get it. First I was, Skyler's laying on the floor beside me, so yeah. So I was 10 centimeters, it was time to push, and I like fist bumped my husband. I remember clear as day. Yeah, it was time for you to get here. I remember like clear as day, I was like, let's do this. We were so excited, we fist bumped. We took a picture together and I did a practice push. I hadn't done any of the like Lamaze classes or anything like that, so I was like, okay, well, I didn't really know what to do. And so my practice push kind of sucked. But then it was time for me to actually push. My practice push was literally like steps away from my real push. It was like 2 minutes apart. And so I forgot to tell you guys, it is like 7:45 now. And that's when I started pushing. So like the real pushes started at like 7:45. As for the mirror, well, I didn't really ask for it. They just said we highly recommend like for first time moms to have the mirror so they can see like what they're doing. So they brought that in there. That was a little uncomfortable with like my mom, my sister, and my husband in there. It was just weird seeing myself up on this huge mirror. But I highly recommend that, especially if you're a first time and you have no idea what you're doing. I probably will use that for my next one. That way I can see like and control and everything like that. Even though I had the epidural, I had a lot of control in my body. I was able to move my legs. I couldn't feel anything as far as like pain when I was pushing, but I could definitely like control my legs, and they would tell me things and I could move and kind of maneuver how I needed to. So that was really nice. I know that doesn't happen for a lot of women, but I love the fact that I was able to like control my legs and stuff like that. So at 7:45 was when the real pushes started. I pushed for 3 sets, and this little one was here. I mean, it was the easiest labor ever, and it's all over. Then this little drill box was brought into the world. Can you look at the camera, or can you only look at the ground? She's like fascinated with her feet now. So, hey honey, look at the camera. You're not fascinated by the camera, just your feet? They're still there, I promise. Yeah, she was brought into the world. It was May 24th at 8:01. So like I said, I only pushed for like 15 minutes. She was born at 8:01, 6 pounds, 12 ounces, 20 inches long, and she's been the best thing that's ever happened to me. Being a mom is something like you just cannot explain. If you are not a mom or you're fixing to be a mom, I cannot explain the feeling to you of being a mom. It's just crazy to think like you brought someone into this world, that you have the responsibility of taking care of them when they cry. You have the responsibility of feeding them. You have every responsibility, and that they fully depend on you. It's just an amazing feeling. I don't care how you brought the child into the world, C-section, vaginal, however, that child is yours, and it's just an amazing experience. I can't talk about how amazing that having birth is. It's just something that is just phenomenal. It's unexplainable. And people would tell me that, like, oh yeah, sure, and I would just be like, oh yeah, sure, you just had a baby, like obviously you're gonna love them, but I just can't explain to you the love and the feeling it is when you actually bring your own child into this world. So that is my birth story. I'm so thankful that I did not get emotional. I thought I might, but this is my little cutie pie. If you are new to my channel, thank you so much for watching. Make sure you hit that subscribe button if you want to see more videos on my channel of me and this little cutie pie. I put out a lot of mom lifestyle videos, and also I'm a military wife, so I put out a lot of content about that. But that is it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Like I said, please make sure to give it a thumbs up if you did. That way I will know you enjoyed it. Can you say bye? Bye, guys.